and also we're looking at expanding the collection I've been working with the school systems, and we found out that we have students that are reading below their reading level. That isn't anything new, that's been going on for years, but the issue is something that's really trying to be addressed now, and really trying to work with that. And book publishers have now come up with books that they call high interest / low readability. And what it is a lot of them are targeted towards your preteens and your teen readers. And so the subject matter is something they would be interested in, but the reading level is about a 4th to 5th grade reading level is where they start at. And so we are looking at starting a small collection of those books and just see how that would work. I think there would be a demand. I think they would be read even by people that just like to read and don't have time to pick up a big book, because the stories are good, they're just more bare bones. And so, and the covers are really attractive, and I think we're going to do them in paperback form instead of doing hardcover, because number one, that allows us to build a collection quicker. And then also, it is also more, I think, more pleasing to check out, to carry with you. And so, kind of see how that goes.
What we were talking about here is essentially it's a remedial group of books, a program, whatever.
It could be considered that. They're finding out that there's a lot of reasons why people, even adults, may be reading at a lower level, and it's just now that they're starting to recognize that there are a lot of visual, people knew about dyslexia, but there are a lot of visual things of like brightness of the page and font, and they're finding out a lot of people that are reading below the level that that they would be. There are some very definite reasons for that, and the only thing that really, from reading I've done, that can be done is they just have to continue to be exposed to that, so they within themselves can learn to compensate for what they're having to overcome.
Now, each of the schools here has their own library.
Right. Yes.
And shouldn't it be the principal responsibility of them to build up the school? I mentor at Lincoln School several times a week, and working with the reading program. I'm working with kids who have no problem with the reading. But they have a lot of books in that collection that seem terribly beneath the 4th grade, 5th grade level. And some of them, I think, would belong in the loan fund. But how much are we going to, what are you talking about in terms of size or cost to put up another section? We have so many different subdivisions now.
That's why the Friends were kind of going to help us with it. We're starting out small. We'll probably start out with about 25 books. The thing that we're seeing, that I think is happening, that we're seeing with students, is they are, schoolwork is different. And what the kind of reading they do in school now is different than probably what it was when we were reading classic and things like that. But kids are losing the joy of reading. And we're thinking this is just something that we could maybe do, because if you can kind of get students past their school years and have them have a good feeling about reading, then they're going to pick up reading as adults, which is a wonderful activity, not only for information, but for leisure time, for relaxation, for whatever. And what we're trying to do is just keep generating that attitude, that need to make reading be something that isn't something that's just a chore.
Where does this thing be located? We have enough space for it.
Right. Yeah, because they're not going to take that much. It's not going to take that much space. Yeah, and it'll be located in one of our already existing conditions. It's not going to be separate. It'll either be located.
I'm not opposed to it. I just was wondering.
No, it'll probably be located. I'm thinking probably that we will probably locate it in our young adult section, where we're developing that, in the
You put
corner.
it there with those, comic book is not the right term,
Graphic novels.
Put it in that same area, that's sort of the same people.
Yeah, it kind of is, interestingly enough, graphic novels, people that have reading problems or issues or challenges, graphic novels are hard for them to read because you really, the font is done very differently. It
But it's
also,
not a novel, it's
Yeah.
a comic book.
No,
you
it's
know?
a- no,
Like
it's a-
they make comic book movies, you
Yeah.
know, that's the big
Well,
thing.
They're actually
no, they're,
novels.
yeah, they're different.
No.
You need to pick
No.
one up and
And
read
there's
it.
pictures with captions and things. No, I'm sorry, I don't accept that.
I've done a couple, I didn't think I'd like them, I just looked, but I've read the real book, and then I read the graphic novel version of a couple of different texts. And, yeah, it's the same book. It loses a lot of the detail and the joy for me, but for people who can't read the big book or are intimidated by a 1,500-page book.
Well, who
The
reads
graphic
1,500
novel.
page book? I know you do. Yes, you do. You
Regularly.
told me that. I know that.
The
No, but
series-
it's like those, remember those, what do they call those classics illustrated we had when we were growing up, you know? When it didn't read Treasure Island, you had to go get the comic book version. It was a comic book, you know? And I don't see much difference, tell you the truth. And most of these things have no connection with reality. You know, they're fantasy things.
Yeah.
And that screws people up as what history was like as opposed to all this fantasy nonsense.
Well, what I'm finding, though, is that I work with middle schoolers mostly, and some high schoolers, is that the ones that don't like reading are having trouble getting the visualization from the words. And the graphic novel kind of blends the visualization with the story, and it gives them a jump start into visualizing.
That's what literature is all about. Literature will give you that if it's great writing.
Well, or if
Okay,
you
I
have
can
the
win this
ability.
exercise, but I just say that this annoys me a little bit. Comic book collectors and things like that. I had comic books once, but I dumped them when I was 12.
Well, but a lot of the people that we serve are 12. So, we serve a young clientele also. So that's just about all I have for the director's report.